Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Visionary Leaders podcast. I'm Aisha Harley, and I am thrilled to be your hostess of today's call. We gather every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for enlightening conversations about wellness, essential oils, and everything doTERRA. In case you miss an episode, you can find us on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. The best way to stay connected with us is to opt into our newsletter and text reminders at hellovisionary.life. And if you feel inclined to leave us a review, we would super appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about natural aging secrets and dive into the truth about castor oil and frankincense. Discover the latest skincare trends with castor oil and frankincense with special guests Erin Fugate and ContessaBeth. Learn why not all oils are created equal and how to ensure your products are pure and potent. You will also learn anti-aging facial exercises so you can get optimal results. Erin Fugate is a doTERRA Blue Diamond and has over 25 years using essential oils. She is a wealth of information and knowledge and experience, and we always love learning from her. And ContessaBeth, a floating root, is a forager, a plant communicator, a sentient art floral designer, and movement artist who has been diligent or delightfully with doTERRA for 16 years and loves to teach the plant messages through story, movement, medicine, practices, and ritual. So thanks to both of you for being here. We can't wait to learn from you. And Erin, I'm going to pass the call on over to you.
Okay. I'm going to give you back host just in case anybody needs to come in. So I'm so excited to be with you all today and my co-presenter, ContessaBeth, to talk about two of my favorite beauty products, which would be frankincense and castor oil. So I'm just curious, has anybody noticed that there's a frankincense castor oil viral trend on social media? Just drop a comment below or, oh yes, Diane says, oh yes. If you do a quick Google search for frankincense and castor oil, you will see so many beauty influencers coming in and talking about it. And I just had to chuckle when I saw this happen because I remember when Contessa and I first started with doTERRA, we were actually roommates and we were in our early 30s. Is that what we were? We were early 30s, right? And I remember kind of the time frame when she and I discovered castor oil for our face and essential oils for our face. So for the better part of 16 years, Contessa and I have been using essential oils and using castor oil, and she's gotten really into facial massage, which I'm just starting to learn about now. And we have both seen the benefits. So I first kind of want to start with my story around my skin and essential oils and castor oil. And then I'd love to hear your story, Contessa, and then you can pass it back to me. So when I started with doTERRA, I was really struggling with my health. I had these little tiny bumps all over my face, like little tiny acnes. Any kind of face care product would give me a rash and make me break out. The only thing I could use was something called Cetaphil, which you buy at the drugstore. It's got tons of chemicals in it, but it was the only thing that didn't give me a rash. I had psoriasis on my elbows and different parts of my body. I was suffering from daily headaches, daily digestive discomfort, a pretty extreme inflammation throughout my body, and fatigue. And when I came into doTERRA, I started to go to workshops and webinars like this, and I started to read the Modern Essentials book. And I had a light bulb moment where I went, oh, this is what's going to help me with all my unexplained health issues that like the doctors really couldn't figure out. And one of the first things I learned about, I think Contessa, maybe you brought it to me, was this idea of oil washing. And it's where you would mix castor oil with olive oil, and you would use that to wash your face instead of using any kind of soap. And we geeked out on the essential oils and kind of figured out, oh, if I put a little tea tree in there, maybe a little geranium, it could help with this weird acne that was going on. So I threw away my Cetaphil and I started oil washing. And it was amazing because at first it did start to pull out the toxins and maybe there was a bit more of a breakout happening, which I will note is the same thing that can happen when you start detoxing your insides. But after about a month, my face started to heal and it became smooth. The acne went away. It was more nourished. It was more moisturized. And over the years, I've continued to lean into the oils and into different carrier oils for my face. But I fell off the castor oil wagon because I kind of felt like that was a treatment that I did to reset my face. And then I found that I wasn't breaking out from products anymore. So I was able to explore different beauty care products a bit. So last year, I met a woman who runs a online business where she sells castor oil packs, like the little strap-on ones, which is so great. Back in the day, we didn't have those. You just used an old flannel, but she has ones for your thyroid, ones for your belly, ones for your breasts. And we started talking about how she had been applying castor oil over her eyebrows and her eyelashes every night to grow back her eyebrows, grow back her eyelashes, and to help with fine lines. And she asked me, this was before the frankincense trend. She said, what do you think if I added frankincense to that mixture? So we kind of talked about it, thought it was a great idea. And I made a little roller bottle where I put castor oil and frankincense. I probably did about 10 drops of frankincense and filled the 10 milliliter roller bottle up with castor oil. She told me that when she started doing this every night on her eyes, that she actually had a detox process where her eyes started secreting like extra crusties every morning until that stopped. And what she noticed was her eyesight improved. Plus her wrinkles went away, plus her eyebrows grew in thick and her lashes. I had really scant eyebrows. They were just super, super tiny. I mean, eyelashes, they were super tiny. And what I noticed is after doing that for a couple of months, my eyelashes grew in super long. So then I said, well, if this is good for my eyes, oh, and my little crow's feet started to disappear. What would happen if I put it on my whole face? So I started putting frankincense and castor oil on my whole face before bed, sleeping with it, and then just wash my face in the morning. And I've been loving the results, like more moisturized, wrinkles fading. It just feels so good. So we'll talk a bit about why and some sourcing practices that you want to engage in, but I'd love to hear your story around castor oil and oils on your face and the skin, Contessa.
Yeah, so I'll go back to like, yeah, those late 20s, early 30s part of my life when I discovered we were really starting to use the doTERRA oils more and more. And at the time, I was in the performing industry in LA. And my background at that point, I'm one of those people who was doing Botox in my 20s. To keep up with the industry, it was competitive. I had a lot of people who were much older than me that looked younger than me, and I didn't know why. And so I got on that train and have been on that train all through my 30s, and currently in my first years of being clean here again. And not to say I have no judgments against any way you choose or tools you use in creating confidence for your beauty. But I'm exploring now for the first time, like, what can I do without that product? And castor oil and exercises for the face have been such a blessing as I start to like get more comfortable with just where I am now in life, what condition my skin is. And I have to say, you know, like in my 20s and early 30s, I was still struggling with so much acne. And now what I think was mostly emotional acne, like holding in anger, holding in stress. that was changing my hormones too. And I was just a breakout mess when I started with Doterra. And my skin has completely changed over the past 16 years. And I'm at the point where I no longer have to address necessarily the acne, and I can start to really delve into just the health of my entire skin organism. And I started with castor oil on my stomach and on my back when I had pulled nerves. So in painful areas with pain, and also just with bloating, stomach discomfort, and had so much success with castor oil on my body. And I had heard that you could use castor oil on, like dimpled skin and things like that. But I hadn't really tried castor in that way. I had just really used it as an emergency. Like if something really went wrong in my digestive system, or I pinched a nerve, then I would really become dedicated to castor because it worked so well. And then, yeah, someone mentioned like that you could use it everywhere, and it was so gentle and helpful. I think I had mostly grown up with my mom's voice in my head with castor oil, which in her era, they took it internally. And number one, it was totally disgusting to take internally. All kids hated it, but they were given spoonfuls of it. And it made people feel ill and like not really feel great. And it was too heavy of a detox. And so the idea of using it on your skin and topically was this much more gentle way to detox any portion of your body, of stress, tension, inflammation, like anything, almost any ailment you came up with. It was one of those things that's always been doled out over time. So yeah, I have not, when this trend came on TikTok and Instagram and all that, yeah, I chuckled too, because I'm like, oh, is this what's going to make frankincense come to the public eye? And of course, like beauty it's a mega industry, and we've known for years that, I've been putting frankincense on my face since day one. I honestly use, that's kind of how I introduce all the oils to my body. I'd love to try it out on my face. And frankincense was one of the first ones I learned that you use to help soften wrinkles, and also like for all the spots you might be worried about with sun exposure, healing the skin on moles, on liver spots, sunspots, all of these darkened or hyperpigmentation, all of these areas. So yeah, I'm excited to like hear what you have learned about the frankincense and castor combo.
Yeah. I don't think that it's anything that any of you know. That's why it's kind of so funny to see it go viral. Frankincense is an anti-aging oil, and we know that it has benefits where it can reduce wrinkles and signs of aging, and we know that it improves eyesight. And there's so many reasons that we all love frankincense. And then castor oil is an ancient remedy, the same like castor was found in the Egyptian tombs, just like. So putting them together is, in some ways, when I first heard about it, I was like, well, you don't need, but then I can see, oh wow, is amazing. Go ahead, Aisha.
Oh, well, you kind of just touched on it, but I wanted to say for people that are not familiar that castor oil treatments are an age-old naturopathic remedy. And the process of it is like we're talking about putting it on your face today, but typically it's something that you would put on your liver, and you would layer castor oil, and then you would get like a piece of cotton, and then you would get a hot water bottle, and you would rest that over your belly and over your liver for like detoxification purposes. And what's a really beautiful practice is to then layer the essential oils. I know, Marilyn, you said that you were doing that, is if you're treating something in your body, then you could apply the appropriate essential oil. And many years ago, when I was first introduced to doTERRA, I had some cysts removed off of my right ovary, and they started to come back. And that surgery was pretty traumatic for me. And I was like, oh no, I'm not having surgery again. And I started doing castor oil packs with geranium and cypress and oils to help move and balance my hormones. And I actually dissolved that cyst on my ovary. So it really is so powerful. So I just wanted to make sure for anybody that's totally new to the castor oil, kind of, going to the roots and how those practices were used. And then I'm not really sure when maybe it's always been part of the face from back in the Egyptian times, but it is comical to kind of see these like latest trends that are actually very, very old ancient secrets being revived. So back to you, Erin.
Yeah, perfect. That's where I was going to go. Historical elements about oil. Like I said, they were found in Egyptian tombs dating back to 4000 BC. And it was actually noted in the Epirus that Cleopatra used it to make her eyes and hair look brighter. So it is an ancient beauty secret. Ayurvedic medicine uses castor oil for detoxification, massage, and digestive support. So this is something else that I will do, is put it in my belly pretty much every night. I put it in my belly button is what I like, and then give my belly a massage. I will do something called a Mayan abdominal massage, which helps to keep chi flowing and my uterus in a healthy condition. Traditional Chinese medicine uses castor oil inflammatory and analgesic properties. So if you have arthritis anywhere in your body, you can also massage it into that area, heat it up, or just if you're a bit on your joints. It's also good for healing. So my daughter gets eczema, and sometimes it'll get cracked. And so the best thing that we've found for it is castor oil, and she'll actually ask for it. And then I have never heard this before, but I thought it was interesting to find that castor oil can be used as a denture treatment. So if you have denture sores or denture, I did not use it in pregnancy. Some women will drink it to put themselves into labor, and I have heard that makes you feel pretty sick. But what I did find in researching this is that using castor oil internally can actually be a parasitic with it. So this kind of brings us into some of the safety issues. Before you use anything on your skin, you should always do a patch test to make sure you're not allergic or there's not a sensitivity. So just put a little bit wrist, the castor oil and the frankincense to make sure you're not going to have a reaction. Internal use of castor oil will give you some digestive upset, and it can be used, but I would be careful with that and maybe get some from a healthcare professional. When shopping for your castor oil, you that is organic and hexane free. There is debate about whether or not it should be in the glass bottle. Most people say, yes, it should be in a glass bottle. But then the critics say, well, when the companies get it to put it in the glass bottle, it comes in plastic bottles. But it's probably, I always think it's a good idea to store your precious oils in amber or dark glass. And I would encourage you to start talking to your friends about this. If they are hearing about the castor oil trend and they're getting excited, they do a Google search, they're going to find so much castor oil and so much frankincense for sale, and not be paying attention to purity. So you can talk to them about, hey, make sure your castor oil is hexane free, organic, and in a glass bottle. We like the Heritage Store brand, seems to be one of the best ones. You can get that on Amazon. And then you can take that opportunity to say, and also be careful with your frankincense. You want to only use doTERRA, because other frankincense may not be distilled in a proper way to make sure that the chemical constituents are balanced. It might have adulterants in it, and it might actually be bad for your face. Same with the castor oil. But if you have those two high quality products, then you can go ahead and apply it in so many ways. So you can just put the castor oil straight on your face. I do that sometimes. You can pre-mix it with your frankincense. One thing I like to do is if I have a half empty frankincense roller bottle, so the frankincense touch, I'll fill it up the rest of the way with castor oil and just, so it's really easy to apply it around my eyes. You can just put it straight over your eyelashes. I know it sounds like, oh, isn't that gonna hurt? It doesn't. I just put it straight over my eyelashes, over my eyebrows, everywhere. I bring it down my neck, my chest, and any excess, I want to waste it. So I skin, massage. It's good for your hair. I even use castor oil to heal scar tissue from giving birth. So my perineum got tore when I gave birth, and the scar tissue was kind of and my midwife was actually said, massage castor oil and helichrysum there, and it worked wonders to break down the scar tissue. You can use it on hemorrhoids. You can use it on skin rash. It is seriously one of my, I've always said if I could only pick one essential oil, it would be frankincense. And if I could only pick one carrier oil, it would be castor oil for sure. So I want to turn it over to ContessaBeth because she's going to teach us the magic and the power of face massage for natural aging. I too gone down the route of, okay, I want to do this naturally. I don't want to get the fillers. I don't want to get the Botox. I don't want to get the injections. I want to naturally age and be a natural beauty. And part of that for me is lymphatic drainage and face massage. And it's a great routine to get in. You put your castor oil on before bed, you do your face massage, maybe you rub your belly and you use your essential oils. It's a beautiful way to care for your body. So teach us all about it, ContessaBeth.
Great. Yeah, lymphatic is a perfect segue here. I want us all to do that. So this is going to be like, do it along with me. Let's do it together. Because it's movement and it's just easier to like follow along, do it, feel it in your muscles, feel it in your lymph system. And this are definitely, when we're talking about, I'm going to talk about mostly about facial movement. We've had another Zoom where we did some more gua sha and massage and all the circulatory things you can do to just enhance everything we're talking about anyway. But today I really want to show you guys some facial exercises, which are actually exercising the muscles under our skin, in our face, flossing the fascia system, and also like how that is involved. So with the lymph system. So I was going to show you first, if you all want to do it, if you want to come on screen, fabulous, because we'll be making some really funny faces. I don't know if Aisha or Erin wants to at some point take a photo when we're all like making the worst faces, because you'll probably want to do these exercises when you're alone in your car. Driving is my favorite place to do them because it is quite funny, and you do need to focus because this is in the dancer world, we call this isolation moves. And so it's very focused movement in a really small portion of your face. And I'm going to just teach you two that hopefully they activate many different positions in your face to work on different things. But first, before we start the exercises, I just want to show you all like a really quick lymphatic exercise you can do to and it's movement based. Our lymphatic system is really pumped when we move it. So and our facial muscles, our fascia and everything, I want you to imagine that you have a shirt with a hood on, and the skin on our face and the skin here coming down our neck and on our chest, its position on our head is directly linked to the skin and all the fascia running up the back of our neck, over our head, and coming down. So I want you to think of your face as if you've put a hood up over your face and draped it over your face. And it's coming up the back and it's being pulled this way. And so gravity, entering gravity keeps pushing on that hood that's coming over our skin hood and coming down. So when we think about wanting to work on our face, you really want to think about the back of your neck, your skull here. So like working on putting castor and doing a massage on your scalp is really helping all of this area because you're loosening this up. You're creating circulation here. Same with neck massage, doing your gua sha on the back of the neck, getting a shoulder massage. All of these things are going to help lift the hood, have the movement going this way as opposed to down, which is how we're living every day.
Contessa, can I?
Yeah.
Contessa, can I
Yes.
just chime in? I mean, this is probably a subject for another call. And actually, Sandra Freeman is really versed on this, but there is an element of like how important it is to lymphatic drain your face every day because of what the toxins do in our brain. And it can actually help you like stave off dementia and just like don't skip the lymphatic drain part. In fact, like don't let a day go by that you don't lymphatic drain your face. I just wanted to punctuate that and maybe put a little thing in there that someday Sandra can come teach us about lymphatic drainage and brain health.
It's so important. I have it written down here that like, so when we're talking about like aging tricks and just keeping our whole entire skulls like happy and healthy, we have to deal with the fascia system, the muscles, the lymph, and all of that has the nervous system inside of it. And so they all affect one another. And if you can tackle all of those, which these exercises do, you're way ahead of the game. So let's just go into the lymph really quick. This is what I've learned, that it's important to do it in a certain order as well. So the very first one you're going to do, you're going to find your clavicle. There's the bone, and you're going to take a finger on either side of that bone, and you can crisscross your arms so you can get both sides at the same time. So kind of like this, wherever what's comfortable for you, you can find a different finger system, and you're just going to massage on top and underneath that bone. And you're just going to kind of do like a nice massage. And make sure your breath is such an important, it's a movement. So always make sure you're breathing while you're doing these things. And sometimes I'll feel like I want to go a little bit harder, and you can also be very gentle. It's almost just like a jiggle on the top of the skin. You can also, like Erin, do pumps. That's also just, and you'll feel the little tendons and muscles just getting a little bit of movement there. Take one more big breath, let it go. And then we're going to move up to the neck. So if you recognize, this is when you go to the doctor, they always tend to put their fingers here and check. And you're like, what are you checking for? They're checking your lymphs. So you have lymph nodes here. So you're going to do the same thing. You can either tap or you can jiggle up and down. Make sure you're breathing in and out. And I have a sensation when it unlocks and kind of drains. I get this like, almost like I took an extra breath, but I didn't. There's just a release that happens. And I know that when that happens, I can move on to the next area. But if you don't feel that, just take a good like 30 seconds in each area. Pumping up and down or not. And anywhere, this movement can be done on the neck, under the jaw. Anywhere here is going to move those lymph nodes. After that, you're going to go up to your ear. Same thing. You're going to take a scissor finger, one in front, one in back of the ear, and you're going to massage the cartilage in front and in back of the ear. Big breaths in and out. Then after that one, you're going to go down to the lymph that's underneath your armpit and right next to your breast. You can do this in a bunch of different ways that feels amazing. You can either grab your breasts and shake them, and that's a great way to move the lymph, and it also feels amazing. Breast massage is such a beautiful thing. Or you can just here, again, tap. And you'll find oftentimes in each of these spots, you'll have some sore spot. And that's when you know you've really hit a lymph node that needs some draining to it. So this is my like pre any exercises I'm about to do, I kind of do this first because I just want, it's similar to like, I'm also going to use the oils before I start doing my exercises because we're slowly opening up and accessing all of these symptoms. So after that, just taking a big breath in, take your shoulders up to your ears, and on an out breath, if that feels so good and you want to do it again, take another inhale. And that's just a quick little lymph drain. Sometimes you can do it like even 10 seconds each area. And you'll notice you almost feel like almost lightheaded, but there's this sense of relaxation in the body that wasn't there before. Okay, so now let's dive into these exercises that actually like isolate the muscles in the face. Drinking water before, absolutely. Before, through, and after. Drinking water, absolutely. So important. I want to talk about, so like frankincense and castor oil, facial exercises have become a viral. It's the new thing. There are so many apps you can join to like give yourself a regimented exercise regime for your face, just like you would for your body. And it's a new era of realizing that we do have these very strong muscles in our face, and we never exercise them, except maybe when, I'm sure you can all relate that when you have a really good day in life and you smile all that day, your cheeks hurt. You're like, oh my God, I smiled so much today. Today was so great, but my cheeks are so achy. That's because you finally exercised the muscles around your jaw. And so these exercises are just meant to stimulate the muscles in your face that we don't use. And then we continue as we age, they start to, just like all the other muscles in our body, gravity starts to slowly pull on them. And so these are really for building muscles. And you will feel it instantly. You won't see it instantly. This is definitely like a practice that is helpful to instill into your daily life. I do them usually in my night routine when I'm going to bed and when I'm driving in the car. Those are the times I find are perfect for doing crazy facial movements. And the first one I want to show you, I've been doing this one for a month solid. I've been doing them every day, at least 2 minutes a day, and that's all it takes, 2 minutes. And I initially just wanted to help lift my cheek area. I have a very long, skinny face as I'm aging, and the definition is going away. And I love to smile. I want to age where I have the smile lines instead of frown lines. And my genetics are definitely frown line aging. And so I want to age happy and beautifully and smiling. And so I really want to make these muscles really strong. And so that was my intention when I started this exercise. And then I found out while I was doing this exercise that it also is exercising the muscles right underneath my eye here. And when we exercise, you have really micro muscles right underneath the eyeball. And when you exercise those, it helps close in, dark, deep crevices under the eyes. And so I noticed not only were my cheeks getting more definition while doing this, I would wake up in the morning and I wouldn't have these like intense, dark crevices under my eyes. And I wasn't expecting that. So it's working the cheek area, it's working the under eye here, and it's also working, helping lip lines, which was not my intention either, but definitely after this cheek exercise, you'll feel your top lip kind of, I feel mine being very plump after I do these exercises. They also take practice. So at first, our muscles are so weak in our face, you're going to be like, I don't think I'm moving that muscle. And you may not be because it's not strong enough to move yet. So these exercises are meant to build up strength. And by the time you do this for a week or two, you'll start to feel the strength, just like you would lifting barbells or anything like that. You'll start to feel your strength getting stronger and stronger, and you'll be able to move the muscle bigger and bigger. So the first one, what you're going to do, and please feel free to come on camera and make these funny faces, and do a favor for me. If you're sitting down, which I'm sure we all are, uncross your legs. Try to sit up straight, use your abdomen muscles, and you're just going to relax your jaw and put your upper lip under your teeth. Try to keep the bottom jaw relaxed. And it's a very subtle, you don't need to make it really taut, but just get the lip under the teeth. From there, because we don't want to add more wrinkles, I've been a comedian clown my whole life, so all of my lines are very much facial expression created. And so if you don't want to create more lines, you can use your fingers in an L, and you can kind of hold your chin skin and your eye and pull back just a little bit. Put that lip under the teeth. That's going to be like home base. And then from there, you're going to isolate this cheek moment. I'm going to actually if you guys want to put your face so it's big in your screen, this might help, because a mirror helps at first when you need to really see, am I moving the right muscle? So here, put it under, and then you're going to very wide contract the cheek muscle. You almost want to think about moving it from the outside of your eye. And at first, you might have to be moving it from your lip because your cheek muscles aren't strong enough to move on their own yet. So a lot of people will start doing it from here, and that's fine. After you do the exercises for a while, you'll be able to feel the isolation up in your cheek. So you're just going to contract that muscle. That's the whole point, and you can just do it repetitively, contracting, letting go, contracting, letting go. And then after you do it, I try to do 60 pumps of the cheek, and then I hold it for 10 seconds contracted. And then as soon as I let it go after those 10 seconds, I'm doing another 60. And you will feel your cheek muscles getting so tight. They get really nice and sore, but it's that good kind of sore where it feels activated. And the other part you see moving when you do this contraction, you'll see your eye right here pumping like this. And that's exercising those little muscles in there underneath the eye. There's another facial exercise just for that eye muscle where you cup the eye, pulling the skin very gently open. And then you try to close your eye. And you use kind of resistance to keep the eye open, and then use your eye muscles to clench the eye shut. But those are the same muscles you're activating while you're doing that cheek exercise. So I tend to just do the cheek one. And at the same time, because you have your lip stretched and underneath the teeth while you're doing this facial movement, it's also helping stretch out this lip muscle and this lip line. So if you tend to have lip line or crinkling happening, this is a really great. After I do 60, I hold it for 10, and then I do 60 more pumps. I let go of my lips and I relax, and I feel like I've got this like huge upper lip. But really, like, if you can do that for a few weeks, I know at first it doesn't seem like anything's happening, but I promise you, like, it's incredible how much change there is in the structure of my face. Like, I really didn't have any definition up here, and just after a month, I'm seeing so much, like, a smoothness over my whole face. So that's that first exercise. I do that in the car. You can try doing it fast, but sometimes it's easier to just really take it super slow. And explore how your face, because we all have different muscles and it's all going to look different when we do it. So if you can look in a mirror and see, am I isolating right here? Can I see movement right there under my eye? The tendency is going to want to be to move from here, because this muscle is already very strong from us talking, eating. We move this muscle a lot. So you're looking to isolate this muscle up here. And so if you hold it, sometimes you want to hold it so you don't use this. See the difference between this muscle and this muscle? I don't know if you can see it over the video. I hope you can. It definitely takes like maybe like almost a week to really find the muscles. And the other exercise that I'm really loving is for the jaw, the neck, anything under here. I've got the turkey, what we call it, the turkey. But it's just extra skin, but it's where fluid lands. So doing that lymphatic drain first, we're getting first rid of all that extra liquid that's gets caught in our lymph nodes and then settles into your face. So doing that lymphatic drain first can help you get rid of all that liquid, so then you can work on the muscle work. So this one is for strengthening the bottom jawline, strengthening and helping the neck muscles release. Because a lot of the times the tension in these big muscles here in our neck are what are pulling and causing tension in the jaw. So this one is to help with, I'm sure we've all heard of mewing. Is that like a common thing we've all heard of? Where you're putting your tongue on the very top of your mouth and creating suction on the very back of the tongue. And it completely changes the shape. It kind of takes your neck from a sloping curve to a 90-degree angle. And it's really good exercise for mouth breathers and people who are trying to change the way they breathe and the way their jaws are set in their skull. So this one, another funny one to start out with. Very, very simple to do. You're just going to take your tongue and try to get your tip of your tongue to reach the bottom of your nose and hold it there. And this is also an important one where you want to make sure you're breathing while you're doing it, which is kind of difficult, but you really need to focus. So you can hold that 10 to 15 seconds, and then you're going to just do it to the side of the face. And you'll feel a pull coming down the jaw on this side of the neck when you go to the side. And you really want to extend it like to where you can't push it out of your mouth anymore. You want to use the tongue muscle to stretch these muscles. You can even accentuate it by pulling one hand down. And holding it there. And then you can also take it even further. If you need a stretch even further, you turn your head toward that side, stick the tongue out toward that side. And I do it by breath for this one, like going in and out and doing 5 really deep breaths, and then taking the tongue to the other side, back to the middle. And then the last one is super, super easy for that one, is simply sitting up really nice and tall, your jaw a little bit forward. And you're just going to simply first take your eyes up toward the ceiling and follow it with your head. And feel the stretch coming down the throat and the neck. And you're just going to hold it there and breathe and really focus on that tightness. And it's really, you're going to take 10 seconds and then come back to rest. Or you can hold it for longer. As soon as your muscles start getting stronger, you might want to hold it for 20 seconds or 25 seconds. But just stretching that. If you feel like your neck can't really handle that type of bend to the back, that's where you want to do the tongue exercises to the front, to the side, and twisting the head to the side and to the side and doing those same tongue exercises. You can also do this tongue exercise to the top. You can go up and then also do the tongue on top of it. And you want to do reps with these, just like you would your arms, your legs, your abs. I heard putting the bottom teeth over top teeth for extra stretch. Let's try. Bottom teeth over the top. That certainly does stretch it even more. That's great. And with all of these stretches, you want to make sure you come back to the center after all of them. You just don't want to like carry on with your day. It's always really great once you start an exercise to make sure your posture is good, make sure your legs are uncrossed, make sure you're breathing. And whenever you go to a side to stretch or you're contracting a muscle, you always want to come back to center and take a few breaths to make sure everything is released. Because we're certainly not trying to add more tension to our jaw or face. That's not the point of these exercises. It's just to give it a little bit of exercise. So I've been told all you need is 2 minutes a day. And that can be 2 minutes total of combining these things or just doing one isolated movement and seeing how that looks for you after a month. I've been most successful with you trying one exercise that I would really like to see some difference. And I'm really happy with that cheek exercise. Like it feels so wonderful. Sometimes I feel like I felt the muscle like elevating off of my face. It was really powerful for me. Any suggestions for grow brow 11 lines? The one I've heard, that one is more of a massage than an exercise. Circulation, you can take your pinchers, your fingers here. So I definitely have my 11s. They have been with me since I was 17. And you're just going to relax your eyebrow and collect the skin in the pinchers. And then pinch, 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 pinch. And right here, I find a lot of tension. And so wherever you find tension when you're massaging your face, you want to kind of stay there. And you can even extend this over to the rest of your eyebrow. And it really doesn't need to be muscle deep. A lot of the facial exercise, it's more about almost, you really just want to move the skin, stretch the skin layer, because that's also where the fascia is. And it's usually the fascia that's all knotted up and congested, as opposed to a tight muscle in your face. So a lot of that pinching, tapping. Well, that was another one to create circulation before you do your massage. A lot of tapping across all these areas. So you can give yourself a nice little circulation after you do your exercises. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I would love to see people on the next call if like you want to take up one exercise, and let's see in a month how different things are. I've seen a lot of changes in people's faces, which convinced me.
Oh, sorry. I was just curious if you know one for jowls. That's the area I want to work on.
That was the same one, the one we did for the jaw and the neck. It's that same one. It's a lot of tongue work.
Where we go.
Yeah, but try to leave the jaw loose and open. it'll give you more of a stretch to just always let this be loose and then twisting to the side. So on any of those side ones, you can take the head up for more and more stretch, but it's also building muscle. So you could do reps instead of doing it slow. You'll start to feel that muscle get tired pretty quick. So you want to, like the body, you want to push past that first ache. And if you do it for a consistent 2 minutes, you will kind of like exhaust the strength of that muscle. And then you want to make sure to shake it out and bring back release to that area. And if you feel like it is tightening up for you, you just want to go more gentle. You're doing it a little too hard, and you can take it easy.
I had to mute because I had a little naked child run in here.
So I would do this. I would prefer to do it. My night routine is to do, you know, the cleansing, putting on my doTERRA oils, using the castor oil. I do the lymph drain kind of morning and night because I also do it a lot for my nervous system. And so if you can do it all together, that's wonderful. And it's gonna feel so amazing. But I tend to sprinkle these exercises throughout my day. And I tend to do 2 2-minute sessions, usually one in my car, and then maybe one in front of the mirror to make sure I'm isolating those muscles in the right way. But even just doing that, I can feel everything being a little activated. Can you guys feel it?
Oh yeah, and I'm noticing, so I have TMJ, I grind at night, and I'm noticing that like that part of my face is kind of going, what?
Yeah,
What are you
absolutely.
doing? So good.
So really make sure to, after you do your exercises, to do some relaxation techniques to make sure you're not staying in that tension place after exercise. Same thing with lactic acid. It's going to build up. If you do these exercises enough, you're going to start creating lactic acid, and you want that to release, drain, do your lymphatic drain to make sure you're getting that removed from your body.
Lemongrass releases lactic acid. So go rub some lemongrass on the bottom of your feet, drink some in your water. That'd be a great thing to try. So I would definitely encourage us all, if we're taking this on, you know, for the month, like Contessa's challenging us to make sure you're drinking some citrus oils or some oils in your water. Melissa is great for lymphatic drain. Lemongrass is great, all the citrus oils, and kind of incorporate that. Do you have, if people want to learn more about facial massage, who has been your favorite teacher, or has there been a book, or is there an Instagram person you like?
I'm going to have to, I will post their names in the after notes that you guys put out. I'll send you their names because I'm not a names person, and I do follow people, and I would like to shout out their names. So we'll add that in.
I sent you someone last night that seems really cool. You'll have to check them out. Everybody can. I'll put it in the chat, but it's Dr._Ailes_osteopath.
Will it be on the email?
In the chat.
Yeah, we'll put it in.
Send it. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to add in there too. So I have been on a nervous system journey, and the lymphatic drain and the exercises, because our vagus nerve, huge nerve running through the whole body, it starts in your face, and it kind of is like your hand, it wraps around your face like this in the nervous system. So doing these exercises, creating movement all around the beginning branches of that vagus nerve, I have to say, like, I have struggled with headaches my entire life on many different levels. And in the past month, I looked back and I was like, hey, wait a second. I think I've struggled like 2 days this month with headaches. And I was like, what did I do different? because it's a very consistent thing in my life. And I'm hoping, and I am going to continue experiencing or experimenting more, because I feel like so much focus on my vagus nerve, which I've been doing for years and years, but something about this work, I don't know if it's because I'm working at the top of the vagus nerve, and doing so much of the lymphatic drain at the same time, I'm noticing a big difference in my nervous system. So we have Sandra. Good.
She's recommending Doc Tox Detox on Instagram, teaches the lymphatic drainage. And I know Sandra's gone through her course. Diane is reminding us that Anne Caroline actually was a guest on this call. So maybe I will put
Amazing.
for if you're like this and you want to dive into it more. There's a lot of great stuff out there. But I would say if you take away 2 things from this call, it would be start using castor oil on your face and start doing a lymphatic drainage every day. And then go from there, see where it goes from there. And I had I put it in the chat that I had a big yawn, which tells me this was definitely working on my nervous system, which is so
good. Working the optic nerve, the tongue, the jaw, so many good movements there, and how important it is that we use movement in all of our healing practices, which includes just simply rubbing on your castor oil. That is like movement to the body, to every portion.
Thanks, ContessaBeth. Aisha, I'll turn it over to you for closing.
Yes, thank you both so much. That was wonderful. I love our interactive calls where we all get to do massage and do all the things together. It's so lovely. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we will be back next week at the same time. And this all will be sent out in our newsletter on Wednesday. Linda, did you have a question?
Yes, for the rollerball with the frankincense, the 10 ml rollerball, what percentage of olive oil versus castor oil do you use?
So I don't use the olive oil anymore. That was something I did when I was trying to clear my face. Olive oil is great, but it has a kind of an acidic quality. What I'm doing right now is just castor oil and frankincense.
Okay.
And personally, I like to keep it easy. So I just have my castor oil and my frankincense next to my bed. I put a drop of frankincense in my hand, a little bit of castor oil, and I massage it on my face.
You're not using the rollerball. Okay.
Nope. Yeah. You could. That's an easy application, especially if you don't want to get your hands all castor oily. And I did that at first, but now I've like merged with the castor oil and I just love it. So I put it on my face, rub it all over my body. I just have sheets that I don't care if they get castor oil on them. And I put it in my belly button. Yeah. So you can play around.
That sounded like a good one to me too. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've used the castor oil. I did quite a while on my liver. And the bottle's probably more than 10 years old. Do you think it'd still be good?
No, I would get a fresh bottle.
Okay. And it is the same brand that you recommended.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's probably just a little too old. You can tell by smelling it may be rancid.
Okay.
I do the frankincense first because I love to spot use it on dark spots, moles I'm worried about, but I also just rub it into my muscles, and then I do the wait 30 seconds, and then I go on with the castor oil and do the massage in. But so many ways to do it, whatever works for you.
I use several of the essential oils on my face each day: frankincense, sandalwood, juniper berry, helichrysum. I use a whole huge, and I change it up periodically. And there's something that I wish doTERRA would have that I get from Golden Fay, which has nothing in it but pure butter oils. And it's got a complete complex of essential fatty acids. Pretty amazing. I have a bit of sag. This has started fairly recently. Like I said, I'm in my upper 70s, so yeah. Got to go with the flow sometimes. You girls all looked incredibly young to me.
Well, I would say likewise. I would say
Mhm.
likewise. Well,
We're all
thank you
aging
all.
beautifully.
Thank you to the doTERRA lifestyle for that. I think I look younger now than I did 10 years ago when I
Oh my
started
God.
doTERRA.
I just love it. We're going to do a lip balm making thing. And then I invite my people that are on my team to grab somebody that could benefit from doTERRA. And when the lip balm is settling, we're all around the living room or the table, depending on the size of the group. And there's 1+ of us to the newbies. And I'll pass some oil around and somebody goes, oh, that's my favorite one. And then they say, oh, okay, I'm enrolling.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. We're at the top of the hour, so we look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.